right, welcome back, traders. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. We did see a little bit of relief this weekend here. I'm not really too sure that I really trust any of this weekend price action. You guys know that. And stable coins. Yeah, all right. So here's the deal. Tether is still very overbought on the daily, 2-day, and 3-day. I do still suspect we get some more relief. We now also have a gap to fill that we created over the weekend, which isn't good. We also have a new weekly candle here that is just opened. Still weekly bullish engulfing. Yeah, we got a little bit of a wickage here. Coming into the weekly supply zone, I think basically once we start taking out 6.78% is when we're going to see, like $74,000 Bitcoin or lower. Once we start taking that out, we are printing, early sells here, but you can see that the squeeze is expanding. It's not like getting rejected like it did back in March, or back here in July, where we got a test into the top Bollinger. We actually have expansion happening on this squeeze. We are entering overbought thresholds here on the weekly, which we haven't really done since the FTX collapse. Eric Trump said we're going to be at 150K by end of year. Yeah, all right. So I'm not really seeing any of that kind of transpire on these charts right now. We are getting a bit of counter trend signals here at the top of this range. I still think that we could see some more relief on Bitcoin. All right, maybe to the 92 to 96K regions if we get follow through on this overbought stuff on Tether. All right, we're gonna take a look at the Bitcoin chart. So yep, a new weekly candle has printed, and you guys can see that our super trend is still short. We're not oversold on the weekly RSI. We are oversold on daily and 2-day RSIs, right? So we are kind of printing a buy signal on the daily right now because it's oversold on the daily. I think it is possible that we do something like this, 92, 93K, maybe even we get to the Kijun line at 96K before we actually just kind of do something like this and then roll back over. All right. The only other thing that is possible is if we do get this price action to the upside, which we should. I mean, the RSI is very wrecked on these lower time frames. If we do materialize some sort of movement by the end of this week, we could start to get a weekly stochastic RSI cross. All right. And that would also trigger maybe a 2-week stochastic RSI cross. All right. These are the only things that I could really see to give us any sort of real relief in these markets is if we were to get those cross-ups. And yeah, it only does happens twice a year with Bitcoin. So from a technical point of view right now, yes, we are still making a macro higher low for all the bulls in the camp here. The weekly has made closures inside of the Gaussian channel, and historically, once we start to do that, we go into a bear market. All right, for all the 4-year cyclers, this is what's happened in the past. And if we look at the monthly time frame, yeah, we'll check NQ, man. We'll check it after this. The monthly time frame here is also printing a short signal, and we are also rolling over on the monthly. The monthly RSI here is coming down to bullish control zone. Nice. We don't have any, listen, if we somehow magically get weekly, 2-week, 3-week, in monthly crossing up, okay, there's an argument that this could cross back up. But if you really zoom out to like the 2-month, this is straight up 2-month bearish divergence coming into sell territory here. Okay. This never bodes well for upside in the market. It's at the top side. Okay. It's not at the bottom here. It's at the top. Breakdown scenarios on how the cycles could be over. I would say the only real argument for how the cycle could be over, the only thing that makes sense in my mind is that the halvings aren't really producing much Bitcoin for the miners. So the halving cycles might be, or not the halving cycles, the 4-year cycles could be over as a result of that not being as profitable for these miners to continue setting up miners, right? But the technicals are they're going to supersede that, I think, man, because it's still a trader's market. This is still a risk asset, you know, and so that's just gonna kind of how that's gonna play out. Whether we're in a 4-year cycle or not just means that maybe it doesn't take a full year or whatever for it to correct itself. Okay, it could be sooner, it could be quicker. It just depends on how quickly everything resets on the chart. And the way I see this right now is that the 2-month coming down here, you know, this could take some months to come back into the buy zone again, right? So that's really it. That's really it. Yeah, the biggest problem I see right now is the monthly TSI crossing short here. These are major signals. These aren't. No, extreme fear won't mean anything. No. I would say it's just more so about technical levels on the chart and how oversold we are. Is there bullish divergence? Is there some sort of edge on the chart to take a trade? Or is it an area of potential value for Bitcoin? In my opinion, historically, we come into, or I say historically, in the past, you could see that the cycles are getting weaker because this previous cycle, okay, you know, you had the FTX collapse here, right? Okay. But even in like the 2015 bear market, we came into the Gaussian channel here. And in the 2018 cycle, this was the COVID crash. We wicked into this median monthly Gaussian, okay? So really the target is actually pretty close to the median of the Gaussian, okay, which is right around this $37,000 region for Bitcoin. That is going to be my potential target. And if it really gets really bad, like worse than we've ever seen before, then we could be actually just targeting the way bottom side of the range, the $15,000 region. That would be absolute destruction for Bitcoin. Okay. That would be a catastrophic event happening, a massive liquidity crisis. the world's ending type of stuff. Okay. I'm not projecting that low for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to be, after this crash, is going to be the asset that recovers the quickest. Yeah. I would be looking like right around this major, like $13,000, $14,000. That'd be insane. We've never seen a correction like that on Bitcoin. Yeah, they want complete control over Bitcoin. It's very clear what they want. They want to control the whole market. That is for sure. So, and you can see this very, very long-term trend line here. We didn't get down to it on COVID here, but you can see from the April 2013 cycle, this was support, major run. We didn't come down to it here, but we came down to it here in 2023 at the bottom. And right now we're coming into contact with it. So once we start breaching this trend line is when we're really going to see capitulation, or I should say the start of capitulation. We're probably going to do something like this where we come into this, 70K or even 60K region, and we might even get a rally back up to it, right? And we make this, maybe this floor here for a little bit before 60K kind of cracks, and then we get the massive capitulation event, something like that. I could see something like that happening with the way these high time frames look. Dude, nobody's interested in crypto right now. Retail is nowhere near this market. This whole cycle has not been retail driven at all. This is all institutions controlling this market. 100%. So, yeah, I foresee something like this happening. If we don't really get any sort of relief off this low, which it doesn't look like we're getting much here for now. Right, and Arash, I think that's the point, is that they don't want this to be a threat to the dollar. They want to just own it. Yep. Yep. They want to own it all. They don't want anyone to own Bitcoin. Let's go to the yearly candle. So we usually have like 3 years up. We basically had that, and now we're kind of giving it back. And see, we don't always bearishly engulf these candles. Yeah, 40K actually seems a bit dressed. I don't know. We'll see. I think BTC is more of a threat to the dollar, or even maybe to gold. And if all the central banks are holding gold, then Bitcoin's maybe a threat to the central banks, right? But that's why they're adopting it, right? I don't really know. I don't really know about any of that stuff. I'm not going to sit here and speculate on it. I'm just here to tell you what I see on a chart and what I think it's going to do potentially. That's it. And it just looks like we're gonna tank for a while. That's what it looks like. I'm not sure about any of that stuff, Toe. I can't comment on that. I don't want to give you guys wrong information. I think Sailor's average price is like 74K, by the way, if I'm not mistaken on that. But you could see every year when Bitcoin has the breakthrough candle, we get the top. And so we had the breakthrough here earlier this past year. We had this move up. And usually after we have the breakthrough candle and the continuation is when we top out. Like almost every time. Yeah, even if you look at the 12-month RSI, this is at 77 on the RSI. This could be a major collapse for Bitcoin, is what it could be. It does look like a huge rising wedge. That is absolutely a fact, is what that is. Could be. Could be very drastic. And that would actually, I would say, like, yeah, maybe to the monthly Gaussian is like 10K. Something like that. That'd be insane. But here you go. Here's the quarterly stochastics pointing straight down right now. It's going to fucking zero. Yeah, it sure looks that way. No, it doesn't look like it's going to zero, but it looks like it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. It looks like we're going to do something like this, yeah. Looks bad. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. All right, guys. Looks like a massive rising wedge. Yeah. Well, I can only speculate what it's going to do. I mean, just looking at the high time frames, you guys can see what I see. It's not like I'm making this stuff up, right? Yeah. Like the time to be when you want to be buying the Bitcoin is if you're looking at the quarterly, is like when it's all the way down here. It's probably going to make it a lower low, and you'll make this bullish divergence stuff. Flippening for what? ETH? That would be a story, man, and a half if that happened. ETH is just a risk asset too right now. There is utility with ETH though, unlike Bitcoin. BTC is done, yeah. It is, Toe. Absolutely is. That is true. That is a massive rising wedge pattern. Yeah, no confirmation yet on a breakdown like that. Okay. This could take some time, some months for this to really materialize. Once we get down to like the 60K region, there's going to be probably bids here to try to save it. And we might get some bounce or whatever, and then maybe get rejected and then break. Maybe a bounce there at 45 and then zoop. I don't know. This looks like terrible. Really, really terrible. I don't know. I'm not projecting this, but like this is a major structure on probably what, 5 Elliott waves up here. Listen, we can all try to speculate and hope that happens, Arash. Like we all want that. A lot of people want to see this thing go higher. We all want an alt season, an alt run, whatever. But I don't know, man. It's not looking pretty. Not looking pretty at all. Elliott is 5 waves. Yes, this would be our 5th wave, actually, that we've just completed. So if we do get that move up, which I think is unlikely at this stage, then it's like And it's like that retest of 124, maybe up to 130 or something, if we really get it. But I don't think we're getting it, truthfully. I don't see it. Not with this stuff happening like this, man. MACD, monthly cross down, just nothing high time frame is telling me up. It's all telling me down. Nothing is telling me up right now, unfortunately. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad. None of this is good. I don't see anything good on this chart. Can we? Yeah, we're probably going to get a bounce off this 67K region, $70,000 region there, I would imagine. We're probably not going to just plow through it because the weekly. Yeah, dude, like it can't sustain any momentum with the dollar index ripping, the S&P probably giving back its gains. The S&P looks like it's about to roll over too, by the way. Yeah, this already broke its structure. Okay, they're trying to hold on here, man. We got a weekly counter trend short that's in. We just bounced off the bull market support band. Eesh, it's just, this looks pretty bad. Okay, our daily's reset. We might get some sort of attempted rally here or something. Okay, it attempted. It like gapped up, and it's just going to get rejected here probably. Yeah, here's NQ, man. Sorry. Yeah. Gap up, going to get wrecked. Nothing good on NQ right now. I wouldn't be taking shorts here, though, personally. With this oversold RSI like that, I wouldn't short that. I personally wouldn't be taking short. But yeah, if you want to trade like the hourly time frame or something, you want to try to time that short or something, then go for it. I don't think so. I wouldn't try to short this just yet until it really gets overbought on the daily or the 2-day RSI again. Yeah, I hear you, dude. I hear you. High time frames suggest short, but low time frames are kind of reset here, or I should say are resetting here. We could do something like this where we come up to like almost 25 and then get wrecked, and then it's just boom, right down. Something like that. After that daily resets like that, I think that's a possibility. We could do that. And then once this happens, everything just starts collapsing for sure. All right. That's kind of where we're at right now. But we'll see how this pans out. We're still a bit extended on these lower time frames here. I want to believe that we're going to see some sort of, I mean, I guess we got to bounce, but this is already resetting itself on the hourly here on Tether, you could see. The 4-hour just bouncing off bullish control zone. And okay, the daily pulled back a bit. The 2-day also pulled back a bit. The 3-day also, I mean, not much, but yeah, we'll see. That means property costs will dump. Yeah, well, there probably will be housing market that gets repriced. If you live in an area that is a high demand area, then maybe the housing markets there won't be as bad in terms of repricing. But areas that are maybe not as populated, not as close to transportation, that are overvalued right now will probably get wrecked. Right? It's just all supply demand stuff too with that. Yeah, after this crash will be, yeah, for sure. If this plays out anyway. I mean, sure looks like it's going to. We'll see. We're still very extended on these lower time frames here, but the high time frame isn't. That's the problem. Right. So yep. Looks that way. Looks that way. Let's look at the rates because that's important to look at. So the rates are probably going to come down, the 10-year rate. So the 10-year rate coming down to like 3% or something. Which also kind of makes sense because like if you're a homeowner, would you really want to, borrow equity against your house right now if you can get a better rate to do that? No, right? You'd wait for that. Or refinance your house, rather, I should say. Like, wouldn't you want to refinance at a lower rate? The answer to that is yes, because you can refinance at a lower rate. So I think rates come down and number go down. And then the Fed prints money. And then they start buying assets again after the rates are down. So something like that. Right, you can see the quarterly here coming down. So the thing we also want to watch for like recession type stuff is oil. When oil actually rallies, these are when we've had major collapse. Like here's the 2008. Here's the 2000 bubble. And here's the 2008. Whoa. When did we topped in November of 21? Well, I don't really know what the correlation is to that, but so last cycle top was like what, November of 21, right? So that also happened to be right near or close to when oil topped out. And then the crash of 2008 was also here when oil was topping out. So that's interesting. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't really know what the correlation is right now, but the only other correlation that I think is something that we can look at is the copper to gold ratio. And obviously gold is ripping and copper isn't. And that's usually conducive for a crappy economy, right? When copper is actually performing. And it's not, right? And DXY looks like it's about to rip. Yeah. DXY is looking like it wants to break out here. Like the daily Gaussian channel flipped bullish. It is looking like it wants to trek higher here. Yeah. Well, this is also people risking off, right? Going into dollars too. Right. But they will let the dollar run. And even if they let it run into like the 104s, like up here, and they just set in another lower high or something. But this is going to absolutely destroy markets. And then they set this up or something, right? Later on. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I'll say this, like the very high time frame dollar index chart does point down, right? The 6-month chart points down. So, but this takes months. This could take a year, maybe 2. So we'll see how drastic this crash ends up being, or this drawdown ends up being. I think for right now, we're still very oversold on daily, 2-day, 3-day, and even, the weekly RSI is almost in oversold territory on Bitcoin. So I'm not thinking like doom and gloom just yet, but maybe a counter trend rally somewhere in the 90s. Maybe we tag and then make a lower high somewhere. Unless, of course, this materializes into something more and we get the weekly stochastic crossing up and the 2-week crossing up, and then we can maybe get some real momentum back into the market, but it's just tough to see that on the high time frames right now. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Okay. And the case for, a 4-year cycle right now is valid, I would say. Yeah, I don't really know how it's going to play. I think we should start to see more relief now, though, because these 2 and 3-day charts are already overbought. So it's got to come down. Like Tether's got to come down. It can't just continue ripping into like the 90s. I mean, it could just keep ripping into the 90s and just flatline up there. We've seen that before. When something's hyper bullish, it just stays overbought for quite some time. Right? I don't know how it's going to play out, but it just looks like there needs to be some more relief. Like you don't really want to short Bitcoin right here, right? It's not equitable to do that on like a low time frame right now. Like you're not shorting RSIs down here at 20, right? No. Like the low time frame, even like the medium term time frame traders are not shorting Bitcoin here. If they've been in a short, that's different. They can continue to hold their short. If they were shorting up here at 110 or even at 107 when we back tested that area there. Sure. Technically, yes, we're already there, right? Like the super trend already flipped. We're below the 50-week moving average. Historically, that means nothing good. We could be, we could be in a move like this right now where we are doing this and then we get this. Like that's what people are thinking, that we do something like this. But the difference is we're already at the Gaussian channel. So I think I don't know. Let's go look at the 2-week and see where we were at over here on that. So we're actually even more oversold on the RSI than this fake out move we made back here. Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. So yeah, we'll see how this pans out. It is certainly a different type of structure than what we've seen. And technically, right this very moment in time, if you're not a 4-year cycle guy and you think that this is an extended cycle or it's going to last longer than normal, then we're technically making macro higher lows right now. We are. We haven't taken out this low, 74K. It could, it's possible. Like I said, the weekly and the 2-week are the only things that could save this momentum. It's oversold. Weekly and 2-week are oversold. We could get it. It's possible. It's not out of the cards. Not out of the cards. 2-day RSI is oversold. We haven't been this oversold on the RSI since August of 2023. And before that was our June, like I said, the FTX collapse. So Circle, yeah, let's take a look at it. I took a spot position on Circle. I was just buying these range lows. I mean, taking shots down here with 2-day RSI oversold, right? I think high probability areas for bounce on this, which we're getting, which is nice. The daily is still wrecked down here. I still think we get some upside here on Circle. We could even run to about this, maybe this $90 region if it's not gonna, flip its trend. You just stay bearish with the rest of the market being not so good. So yeah, it's a counter trend. You can see that there is a gap here, by the way. There's a gap here around 95, so we could maybe run to that region. I'm not going to give it that much credit though, because, well, I don't know how the macro is really going to hold up. But I think just really easy to manage risk here, right? So, if we start getting rejected, just move your stop loss up on something like this. All right. There isn't really any real structure or pattern here. I was just looking at RSIs being oversold and coming down to where this thing opened. All right. And yeah, you could see there is like a trend line here that we're actually coming into contact with. Yeah, it should. Actually, this could be long shot. Could be a descending broadening formation after a 100% retracement. So, if we're just trading the daily chart, the next major daily resistance is up here at $112. But in theory, it could trade back up to the trend line if it's got enough momentum to do that. All right, we are getting some daily clippage down here. We're oversold. The 2-day is oversold. The 3-day is oversold, or not oversold, but man, it's pretty down there. All right, and no bubble risk on this down here. It's just very oversold. Definitely not a bad place to take a trade with an easy stop below this candle body here. Very easy to manage your risk on something like this. So, see how it plays out. All right. So I don't think we're done relief rallying right now. I think we're going to continue to get some of that in this market. So just sit tight. I think we're going to get some bouncing going on here before maybe making a lower high somewhere and then rolling over after that. I don't like those high time frames. Don't look good to me. All right. But we'll see if we get enough momentum to flick those weeklies and 2 week stochastics up, then we can certainly get a move. Okay. I'm not saying that it's not possible. I am saying that it's a low probability though. Okay. All right. That's pretty much all I got. Do you guys have any other stocks or cryptos you want to look at this evening? By the way, if you guys haven't checked it out, we are running a Black Friday sale for the yearly alert calls that I make in Discord. If you're interested in that, please DM me, or you can message me here on YouTube, and we can get you guys all sorted out for that. Going once, twice. All right, well, that's it. Then we will end the stream. I can check gold, yeah. So far, setting in some lower highs right after this top it made. We made a bounce here to a lower high on gold. What's going on, Tint Up? What's up, dude? Gold looks like it's probably done for now. Like this is setting in lower highs. We're going to find out here some resolve here soon once it starts maybe taking out these lows at 3,900. DXY going up. Gold's probably going to come off. Weekly chart, throwing in some of these counter trend shorts here. If anything, it's got a lot of room to come down to the bull market support band here at 3,700. No, actually, it's not. I would say that that's actually holding up pretty well in this environment. Sitting around $300 right now. Doesn't really look the best, but yeah. It's had better days. It's had better days for sure. I would still say it's holding its trend for now. Yeah, I would agree. It's actually holding up pretty well against Bitcoin too. Holding in its structure. I mean, this structure could break at any time. It actually looks interesting. You see how we got some weekly bull div here against Bitcoin? That is interesting. That is interesting. I'm not saying it's gonna play out or anything, but this isn't a squeeze here. If this breaks up, it's interesting. Got maybe a 2-week bull div here going on. Volume receded. I don't know. Doesn't look terrible. I would say, like I said, I would say that it's actually just respecting its trend. If this sets in some higher lows here, then there's a chance that it could pop back up. But macro is the macro right now. It doesn't really look conducive for something like this. I will say that EHEX put in a decent candle today, but this thing is destroyed. The weekly, not so bad. It actually closed not a bad weekly candle. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to see follow through, though, with the macro. But you could see some volume that came in today on it. So it's holding above its range low. So there's that. And its weekly super trend is actually still green. Hopium. We do have some counter trend longs coming in down here on it. So that's interesting. It's interesting. 2-day RSI oversold. Could maybe continue its move or attempted rally if the rest of the market continues its bounce here, which I think we might get. All right. I think we might get that. So I think we do see a little bit more green here over the coming days, maybe the next week, maybe 2 weeks. Just depends on, the velocity at which Tether falls and Bitcoin goes up. After we exhaust these oversold conditions and we make a lower high somewhere, or we hit a sell wall, like the 92 to 96K regions, maybe somewhere in there, you could be looking at. And then we can reassess. Like, that's it. All right, guys. That's all I got right now. The altcoin market is absolutely annihilated. It's really difficult for me to believe that these are just going to continue to bleed out for another year. It's possible. We could get maybe some sort of disbelief run. I'm not throwing it out. ETH has an upgrade December 3rd. Fusaka. But Yeah. So this would, if we are to see that kind of formulate and happen, that would mean that we're no longer following a 4-year cycle and that we're getting some continuation. All right. That's what that would allude to that. Okay. We'll see how it plays out. All we can do is try to assess the situation based on I would say the 2 or 3 day charts are going to give you a shorter term outlook as to where we're going. The high time frame is going to dictate probably the next 6 months. So the high time frame doesn't look good. But these lower time frames are alluding to relief. All right, that's it. Take it easy, Toe. Have a good night, man. All right, that's it. We got nothing else to really discuss here. Let's see some relief come in for these markets here. And that's it. Charts are screaming oversold on daily, 2-day, and 3-day. Is what they're screaming right now. So that's what they're screaming right now. What does it mean? It means we run until we're overbought on those time frames or close to overbought. That's what it means. What do you mean, dude? There's tons of money sitting on the sidelines right now in this market, for sure. Lots of people are stabled up. Dude, you had alts today. Some alts did more than a 30% move just today, right? Some of these alts can do double ups. That can happen. Just depends on what alt you're talking about. They're all not treated equal. They all do different things. Right? Here you go, man. H bar off the lows. It was up 26% at one point today. Right? It just depends, man. It just depends on the asset. Depends on the ranges, depends on the volume, depends on a lot of different things. So that's pretty much it. This DYM coin today, this thing did a 200% move from the low to candle body highs. And it looks like it's trying to set in some higher lows now. This thing is probably destroyed. Yeah, it is. Wrecked. So yeah, I mean, you know, look at that volume. Somebody's buying that for whatever reason. Short squeeze, I don't know, something. Maybe somebody accumulating this asset for whatever reason. Yeah, we can look at pulse chain. You're on life support down here at the range lows. Yeah. And let's hope that gets defended there. It's oversold on the daily, oversold probably on the 2-day. Yep. How about your Sui, man? They're all oversold on 3-day timescales. Should all be getting, you know what this looks like to me? It looks like to me that it does something like this, to go back up to back test like $2 and then just that. That's what that looks like. That's a pretty big move. 48%. All right, cool. That's all I got. I'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully we get some relief here these next few days. And we'll see how this pans out. All right, catch you guys then.
Hey everyone, you've landed on the Swing Trade Pros website here. My name is Mr. Know-It-All. I've been an active swing trader for over 7 years. I want to welcome you guys all to the community here. My goal is to change 1 million people's lives with swing trading and trading profitably. This is a skill set you can learn here with the service. You go check out the testimonials in Discord. You can see lots of folks talking about the service and how the trade calls are super profitable. You can check Profit Gains channel. I think we've amassed around $150,000 worth of profits in the last year posted in the Profit Gains channel just from other users and traders in the community. I'd like all of you guys to check out the 14-day free trial. A coupon code will be pinned in the comment section below this video, so check it out. And we'll take you through 14-day free trial process here. You come down to the website, save 44%, and claim your 14-day free trial. Click on that. And that will take you to the Swing Trade Pros website where you can click sign up now. And after your 14-day free trial is up, on the 15th day you will get billed, full disclosure of that. And I appreciate you guys all joining the community. It will change your lives. Give it a chance. A lot of these swing trades can take months. One of our biggest trades of the year last year was INJ. We took an entry at $1.60, and well, that asset's trading over $35 today. So that was one of the banger trades that I pointed out. My strongest pattern that I trade that I'm known for is the falling wedge. I call it the falling node wedge pattern. Lots of divergence on these charts, and that's what makes these patterns really play out. And you guys are going to be able to really learn that in the service, and I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys on the charts.